Hi, and welcome to Positive Mentoring with Purpose, Health, and Diversity Intelligence, Strategies for Student Grit. My name is Dr. Tom Butkowitz, and I'm core research faculty in the PhD in Management program. I'm thrilled to be presenting with an esteemed colleague of mine who will now introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Cheryl Christensen, and I'm senior core faculty in the PhD in Management program. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Faculty mentors strive to develop sustainable relationships with students. One challenge faculty face involves students who struggle with personal, professional, and school-related obligations. Although Walden University provides a plethora of resources for students and faculty, it is also essential to recognize the importance of engaging students in dialogue about the role of resilience and grit in managing competing obligations.
Tom, you really bring up an excellent point. As faculty, we frequently find ourselves working with students who are facing so many different competing life circumstances, and we need strategies to help ourselves help our students.
Thank you, Cheryl. Incorporating diversity intelligence, transformative learning theory, positive psychology, resilience, and grit, we propose a practical model faculty can implement to help students recognize how they can tap into resilience to be more successful in their academic program. So upon completion of this session, mentors will be able to apply positive mentoring with purpose, health, and diversity intelligence strategies for student grit.
Tom, I think we're ready to jump into our model. First element in our model represents a disorienting event that students experience. Sociologist Jack Mesaro's transformative learning theory is based on using disorienting dilemmas to challenge students' thinking. Students are then encouraged to use critical thinking and questioning to consider if their underlying assumptions and beliefs about the world are accurate. In our scenario, the disorienting events could be the iterative dissertation process, scholarly writing, statistics, or any other types of disorienting activities that they face while in their doctoral journey. Many students, for example, have not experienced the iterative review process. So when they encounter multiple requests for revisions that do not align with their expectations informed by previous learning experiences, they face this disorienting event. In particular, many students who are not accustomed to multiple sets of feedback requiring revisions, which kind of sends them into a tailspin. This experience is contrary for many students' expectations because they have not encountered this previously. As such, we think the disorienting event is the trigger that sets our model in motion.
Well, thank you for sharing those excellent points, Cheryl. The next element of our model represents Mesaro's transformative learning theory. And in this theory, Mesaro, who altered the field of adult learning, posited that events begin with some kind of disorienting event, which Cheryl just mentioned. We contend this theoretical model resembles the experience many of our students have with the dissertation journey due to the iterative nature of the research and writing process. All in all, the process of transformative learning involves taking action on our transformed perspectives. We make a decision and live what we have come to accept until we encounter a new experience or a perspective that makes this reflective orientation problematic and requires reassessment. Cheryl is going to further extend this line of thinking.
Thanks, Tom. You know, Tom, I really like how this transformative learning theory incorporates a reflective component. The essence of transformative learning is to describe how people develop and use critical self-reflection to consider their beliefs and experiences, and over time, change dysfunctional means of seeing the world. This is important for many students when they go to college, in particular, those who pursue a doctoral program, because their previous experience does not adequately set their expectations for the doctoral journey. Students act differently as a result of the learning at least until a new disorienting dilemma forces them to reconsider their changed perspective and make an accommodation or not. When faculty encounter students who experience a disorienting event, they can follow three approaches. First, they can provide an opportunity for critical thinking. Faculty can create opportunities for critical thinking by providing content that introduces new ideas. Students can then need the opportunity to engage with new content through journaling, dialoguing with other students, and critically questioning their own assumptions and beliefs. Second option faculty can use with students who experience a disorienting event is to provide opportunities to relate to others going through the same transformative process. Transformation often happens in a group as students bounce ideas off one another and are inspired by the changes friends and acquaintances make. And the third opportunity faculty can use with students who experience a disorienting event is to provide opportunities to act on new perspectives. Finally, research indicates that it is critical for teachers or faculty to provide the opportunity for students to act on the new worldview.
Cheryl, thanks for describing the importance of transformative learning. The next element of our model pertains to self-awareness and reflection. Growth can happen when we are honest with ourselves about our weaknesses and strengths. Psychologist Daniel Goleman prescribed that emotional intelligence, or EI, is the capacity for recognizing our own feelings and those of others, for motivating ourselves, for managing emotions well in ourselves and in our relationships. Goleman asserted that an element of EI is self-awareness, which means knowing what one is feeling and understanding the impact those moods have on others. So then we move to the positive psychology element of this model. While it is critical to recognize negative experiences, it is also essential to challenge habits of mind by encouraging a more positive mindset. According to psychologist Bridget Grenville-Cleve, positive psychology involves the characteristics, conditions, and processes that lead to flourishing. Furthermore, psychologist Martin Seligman identified three pillars of positive psychology: positive experiences, positive individual traits, and positive institutions. There are three questions to consider when we think about positive psychology among mentors and doctoral students. What do the students need to feel? Well, as mentors, they need to feel your confidence in yourself and in them. What do students need to see? Your conviction and your example. What do students need to know? That you understand them and are focused on them. We suggest the faculty consider 4 barriers when working with students in this context. The first is an assumption that I already know what others know, feel, and want. Possibly arrogance plays into this. I don't know what others know, feel, or want. The indifference. I don't care to know what others feel, know, or want. And control. I don't want others to know what I know, feel, or think.
Boy, Tom, that's really interesting and I think really useful tips for faculty. Finally, we're going to end with the resilience and grit element of the model. Grit comprises passion and perseverance for students to embrace for goal attainment. Resilience refers to an individual's ability to adapt and thrive when faced with challenges. Incorporating strategies that help students recognize habits they can use to enhance their resilience can hopefully help them be more successful.
Cheryl, thanks for emphasizing those key points. As faculty, we can inform our practice by enhancing our awareness of resilience and grit, and by learning how to reinforce these habits of mind in our classes. One way to do so is to incorporate discussions around these topics by asking students to reflect on the strategies they use when they encounter a disorienting event. Another strategy might be to introduce students to grit and resilience assessments that will help them become more aware of their personal habits of mind on resilience and grit.
Tom, do we have examples of resilience and grit assessments to share?
We do. Here is one example of a resilience self-assessment. Psychologist Albert Siebert created a self-assessment instrument titled How Resilient Are You? For participants to answer 15 questions using a Likert scale to reveal their resiliency score and interpretation based on over 30 years of research. Now for the grit assessment. Psychologist Angela Lee Duckworth is known for her groundbreaking research on student grit. She designed a grit scale of 10 questions based on 2 traits that can predict achievement: grit and self-control. There are a number of statements in this instrument that may or may not apply to you. However, there are no right or wrong answers. So just answer honestly, considering how you compare to most people. At the end, you get a score that reflects how passionate and persevering you see yourself to be. We urge mentors to take the resilience and grit assessments to learn more about themselves and become better equipped to work with students. Cheryl, let's take our attending audience to the next level on this topic.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. I think that those assessments can certainly help faculty and students. And I think we're moving forward with you talking a little bit more about advancing positive mentoring.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. I appreciate the acknowledgement. Advancing positive mentoring requires diversity intelligence, emotional intelligence, and mentor behavior for student resilience and grit outcomes. Mentors are critical towards student success at every stage of the dissertation journey. So a positive mentoring model is paramount for helping students develop these grit strategies. Purpose, health, and diversity intelligence are at the core of our positive mentoring model. We contend that purpose and health drive diversity intelligence, being the capacity of individuals to realize the value of diversity and to use that information to guide thinking and behavior. So positive mentoring of doctoral students involves recognizing that diversity intelligence functions as a true foundation for serving doctoral students in online learning. Mentors should reliably express an awareness of differing cultures, viewpoints, and competencies, as well as practice flexibility in managing courses and dissertation committees. The outcomes of advancing positive mentoring might uncover opportunities for mentors and students to further establish a supportive culture towards success. Cheryl, what are the next steps for mentors to consider at this point?
Thanks, Tom. I'm actually really excited about our next steps. So the next steps for our mentors to consider at this point is firstly, completing the How Emotionally Intelligent Are You 15-question online self-assessment available through Mind Tools. Self-awareness and reflection through emotional intelligence can help equip faculty with a more in-depth view of their preconceptions and perceptions of normative behaviors, especially when working with a diverse population of multicultural students sensitive to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Next, Angela Lee Duckworth's TED Talk on Grit, The Power of Passion and Perseverance, is another beneficial resource for mentors to expand their understanding about the theory of grit being a predictor of success. And then don't forget that Walden Center for Faculty Excellence is another valuable resource for faculty. So in closing, the outcome of this innovative teaching practices showcase session is for faculty to further influence positive social change by advancing positive mentoring through diversity intelligence, emotional intelligence, and mentor behavior for student resilience and grit outcomes. Mentors are critical towards student success at every stage of the dissertation journey, so a positive mentoring model is unprecedented to help students develop grit strategies.
Dr. Cheryl Christensen and I would like to thank you for the opportunity to present Positive Mentoring with Purpose, Health, and Diversity Intelligence Strategies for Student Grit. Thank you very much.
Thank you.